Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of United Arts Chatcast with me, Laura Gray. And today I'm speaking with the lovely Collette Guitart. Colette is such a wonderful performer. She is what I class as an absolute triple threat. She has it all. Her latest show has been Six the Musical, which me and my husband had the pleasure of going to watch her in. She is just a delight to watch. If you haven't watched it yet, I know right now you can't, but when you can, grab yourselves a ticket and go and see her. She's just incredible. And yeah, she's going to share with us some of her experiences within Six and also just some of her time in the industry so far. I hope you enjoy. Hi, Colette.
Hello, hello.
So lovely to see you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, thank you. Not too bad. New day. How are you?
Not a lot going on, right?
No, nothing at all, really.
No.
I thought I was busy.
Have you been managing to keep some workshops and stuff like that going?
Yeah, a few. It feels like this lockdown has quietened down a little bit because everyone's already done all the workshops in the other two lockdowns. But yeah, few are still popping up, so it's nice. It's keeping me busy.
Good, good. So for those that are watching, this is the lovely Collette Guitart, and Colette's latest job was in Six the Musical. So Colette, tell us a little bit about Six and your experience with it so far. I know it's been abruptly interrupted just as you guys were getting back on a flow again. So yeah, just tell us a little bit about your experience with Six.
Um, well, I mean, I love my job. I absolutely love it. I mean, before I even joined Six, it was one of my favorite shows that I'd seen because it's so different and it's one act that you've not even got an interval. And it's just a pop concert that displays history at the same time. So it's like the funnest education ever. Yeah, I love it. It follows the queens of Henry VIII, which I never even knew their names. I just knew them as divorced, beheaded, died, divorced, beheaded, survived. So I feel like I've actually learnt quite a bit on the job than I ever did learning in history, because you always learn about Henry instead of his wives, and this shows the wives half of the story, and yeah, it's just brilliant.
You started off, you went straight into West End, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
And you were swing, is that right?
Yeah, so my title at work, like everyone's got a different name for it, but it is understudy dance captain,
Okay, okay, nice.
which is essentially a swing because I cover all of them.
But then you have dance captain on top of that.
Yeah, yeah, which is like
Yeah, I bet. But at the same time, there's no better person to do that job than the swing because you know everything.
yeah, exactly. If you've got to learn it all anyway, you might as well be assigned that role.
For sure. And which out of the queens was is your favorite?
I This is honestly one of the hardest questions. I really don't know what's my favorite, but I think, like, with me feeling comfortable playing them is probably between, I love playing Aragon, which is the first queen, divorced. She is just a boss. She's an absolute boss, and I love her story. And um she was brought over from Spain, so whenever there's like a little hint of like ever just certain little things where I can put a little Spanish accent on it, I will, just because I can. Um, and yeah, I love playing her. I've played her the most, and I'm really, really comfortable in that role now. But they're all so different that I couldn't say she's my favorite. I just feel comfortable playing her now.
Okay.
Um, but then on the complete other end of the spectrum, I also love playing Pa, who is the last queen, who is the one who survived, and she has very little to say throughout the entire performance until it's her bit. Basically, the show is a competition, and everyone's been putting their best foot forward and saying, you should pick me as your lead because meh, 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 meh. And then it gets to her and she's just like, I'm just going to have a chat with you guys, instead of like really pitching her story. She's just wanting to have a chat. And I love that because it's very naturalistic. It's really like, it calms everything down, whereas everything's been like up here, like belty, crazy songs. And then she's just like, let's just chill out for a second. Let's just have a talk. So I really like that part of it. But yeah, like I said, I actually can't pick a favorite, but I love those two.
Oh, amazing. You must be missing it so much.
Oh, I do. I miss it so much. And do you know what? The fans of the show are amazing. And even now they're continuing to post like mega sixes from the show. So they're like the final bit, like the bow, and pictures from the show. And it's so lovely to see because they're sort of keeping it alive while it's not running. It's yeah, it's lovely. I always love seeing notifications pop up on my phone of stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely, I bet. And the fan base has been really insane. Like, were you ever prepared for that?
No, absolutely not. No. I mean, I knew the show was a hit, but I had no idea how invested and how young actually the fans are. We've had like 6-year-olds come and see it and love it. To like, my parents have seen it however many times. They're like bunch of middle-aged old fogies. So
Oh,
yeah.
they're amazing. The amazing guitar, shout out. Your number one fans, of course.
They really are. They've seen all the queens now, so they can tick that off. They've seen every single one. But yeah, the fan base is like wild. I've never known anything like it. Even at Bat Out of Hell, um, the fans were unbelievable at Bat Out of Hell, and I feel like I never really got to absorb it quite as much as some of the leads were. But because everyone is a lead in Six, it's like you get all of that attention equally distributed throughout the entire company. Yeah. And it's such a wonderful feeling, and it's just crazy because you get people say that they look up to you, and which makes me nervous. I'm like, oh god, got to be the best version of me. But yeah, it's wonderful. They've got so many lovely things to say about the show, about the girls in the show, about the writing, about the music. Like there's so many different things that they pick out from the show that you're like, I'm glad you get it. Yeah. Like it's nice that they understand sort of the message as well as just being like, I really like this song. Do you know what I mean?
Of course, yeah, they kind of come into the creative structure of it, like the thought and the creativity that's come from someone to put that onto a stage. The fans are understanding, and that really is what every creative's dream. That's why you do it. You have a story, you want to portray it, and you want to bring them people into that place where you are, and Six is definitely doing that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, it's great.
Oh, that's so awesome. So then you guys, obviously lockdown happened.
Yes.
And then you got back on track, didn't you? And you reopened at the Lyric.
Yeah, our new home. My new home.
Home, that's my old home.
I was just about to say that's yours and Jason's old home.
Yeah, that was so strange to see the Thriller sign come down outside, because for as long as I can remember, that's been, you know, when you get the snapshot of the street and the Thriller Live sign is there. Yeah, as long as I can remember, but also incredible, I think, for Six. I think it's the perfect theatre.
I do think it's been like a great transition. I feel like the day that they took that sign down was so bittersweet because like I've only ever known Thriller to be in that building, and like I wanted to be in Thriller when I was at college. I was like, I am going to be in that show. And I mean, it never happened for me, but that's not a sad story. It's because other things did. So but then to see like the show that I am currently in move into that as its new home is just such a weird like turn of events. It's just bizarre, but in like a wonderful way. Obviously, I love the Lyric Theatre. It's beautiful. It's so lovely, and they've redone it for the opening as well, because I felt like it wasn't just the opening of Six at the Lyric, it was like the opening of theatre again after a lockdown. So it felt quite epic in a way.
Yeah.
so yeah, they really went all out, and they like redid bits of the theatre, and it's beautiful. And I just, oh my God, and the chandelier on the ceiling is ridiculous.
Yeah, it is gorgeous, and there's something really lovely about it because it's obviously one of the smaller theatres, but it's so intimate at the same time. You're really there with the audience because it's not so vast and so large. And yeah, perfect for the show that you're doing. It is literally the perfect size.
Yeah, they really complement each other really well. I think it was wonderful at the arts, but I think it's just sort of leveled up ever so slightly at the lyric, because they've managed to make the sound. I honestly, I got shivers the first time I heard one of the songs from out front, because you can feel it, like, you know, when you go and listen to live music and you can feel the music instead of just hear it. It was that kind of feeling where you can feel that rumble, and I was just like, oh wow, this is it. It is the perfect theatre for Six, in my opinion. I think it's brilliant.
Oh, I hope you'll be back there soon. It's there, it's ready, it's waiting for you.
Yeah, exactly. At least everything's set up. We just got to go back to it.
Yeah, once you get that date, you're there.
I'll be the first one there.
Knocking at stage door. Let me in. You mentioned about Thriller and how that was always a show that you wanted to be in. Does that still stand, or has your kind of journey so far taken your dreams and aspirations in a bit of a different direction?
I would say it's changed ever so slightly, because at the time, Thriller to me only seemed like the only musical theatre show that incorporated commercial dancing. And now musical theatre is heading in that direction anyway, and multiple shows are showing that as the choreographic side of the show. So, well, for example, Six is commercial dance, and the same with And Juliet, and even with Rent that just played. Where were they? I watched it online. I can't remember where it was, but same sort of thing.
What, they've just done a new one?
Yeah, they've just done like a new version of Rent, and they just played it online, I think just before Christmas.
Stop it. Rent's my favourite, one of my favourite shows. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, mate, it was amazing. It was so, so good. And I had like a few friends in it.
Is it
And
still airing? Can I still get it?
I'm not sure. Let me ask, because the MD of Six was the MD on Rent. So that's how I was like, I need to see it. How can I see it? And she sent me the link to get the ticket. But I'll ask her.
Yeah, please do, because I would definitely watch that. I don't know what it is about that show, but it's so I don't know, it's just always pulled me, always, from the first time I saw it. And then the film as well, they did the film version. So yeah, please let me know, because I'd love to watch it.
I will. I'll get back to you on that. That's amazing. Do you know what? I feel like such a musical theatre criminal, because before watching that, I hadn't seen any version of Rent.
Okay.
But actually, I think that was better for me, because then I just watched it with a completely like blank canvas of thinking. I wasn't comparing it to anything. I was just like, wow. And I was really like captivated by all of it, because it was, they performed it in a really intimate setting as well. And it was really beautiful. It's a beautiful story.
That's the best, I think the best word to describe that show. It's beautiful. There's something so, and do you know the story about Jonathan Larson?
No.
He created the show, and then on the opening night, like I've looked a bit into his like documentaries and stuff, and not even so much his, but like his life. And obviously he aspired to do this his whole life, to put a show out there and do it. And he got to opening night, and he died on opening night. So they then went out. So then the cast went out and put on his show. That show, which is emotional anyway, knowing that had just happened. That to me, that story really like captivates me. I just think that's incredible. Like it's so sad and so dark in some respect, but just so beautiful in others. Like to if that was his time, the fact that he managed to get that out there and leave his legacy, and it really has become a legacy. Like it's gone on.
100%. It's one of those like absolute classics now. Like every musical theatre head knows Rent. Even people that aren't really into musical theatre know what Rent is. They even if they know nothing about it, they know if you say Rent that you're talking about a musical.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I always think about that story. I just think it's madness.
I don't know how they went out there.
Can you imagine the rawness to that performance on that night? Like it would have been theatre magic. Probably
Yeah,
really, like awful situation, but what would have been on that stage would have been just, I would have loved to have seen that.
yeah, yeah. I bet. Oh my god, yeah. As an audience member, you would feel that
Oh,
so much.
madness. I've completely gone off track.
We love Rent.
Love it. Good. Right, so where were we? Oh yeah, so I said about initially Thriller was like a dream job, and then has your path kind of changed along the way?
Yeah, yeah, it has changed completely because I mean, I didn't even really consider musical theatre as one of my top options of things that I wanted to do, which is mental because that is all I've done. um, and yeah, the reason I wanted to go into Thriller was because well, I love Michael Jackson anyway. I love his music. And like I said, it seemed like the only show that had commercial dance in it. Um, but yeah, then I don't know. I think it's because I never really considered myself a singer that can dance. I came out of college feeling like I'm a dancer that can also sing if needed in an ensemble. Um, but with that, you can't. I think you have to put less labels on yourself because as a graduate, put myself in such a tiny box that I didn't realize what I could do with my life and career. And yeah, I'm glad I didn't realize it straight away because the journey of realizing it is also just like as wonderful. um but yeah, I sort of wish I'd not come out of college and been like, I'm a dancer. I wish I'd have been open to exploring singing more because I love singing. Like I absolutely adore singing. Um, but I just thought it was the kind of singing that you do in your bedroom. But like it's the same with the commercial dance side of it. Musical theatre now is moving into such a poppy vocal genre that my voice now seems even more accessible to theatre. So yeah, I feel like there's a lot more doors open for me now with me being me instead of trying to fit into what I think I should be doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a really important message for graduates and people that are coming into the industry to keep your options open and to not be put in a box, because often you do get put in a box.
Yeah.
Even if you don't put yourself in a box, it can become the sense that you get put in one through your training.
Yeah.
You know, you do start to believe then that that is who you are and that's who you're going to be. And I think it's really important that people keep that open mind. And actually your path can change very quickly.
Yeah.
And
So
there's so many options. But I actually remember, Colette, I remember when I was teaching you at college, it literally makes me feel ancient just to say the word. And I was like, so you're going on you're on the dance course? And you were like, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. And I think that was it. And I could see your face like, yeah. And I was thinking, okay, I know this girl can sing. But then at the same time, I think you just said something like, I just don't want to be, I don't want to miss out on them big dance numbers. So it seemed like at that point, dance was your biggest passion. That was really what drove you. And as time's gone on and you've kind of built your confidence and your self-belief, you've allowed now your path to turn to, no, I'm not just a dancer, I am a singer.
yeah, 100%. That me, so in second, just to give a bit of background, in second year of bodywork, they split you into dance course or musical theatre course. I think a lot of colleges do that. And I chose the dance course, but like you said, so many teachers were like, so did you consider the musical theatre course? And I was like, yeah, no, I've thought about it, but I want to do the dance course.
It's like everyone else knew apart from you. And isn't that strange?
Yeah, it is kind of crazy. But I did, in my final year, in my third year, I did feel like the people in the musical theatre course, like there were things that they were doing that I was like, oh man, like I want to do that, but I also like I basically wanted the best of both worlds, which wasn't an option.
Yeah.
So I started taking like private singing lessons after college to like keep me up to date with what the musical theatre guys were doing, as well as then being on the dance course and getting like enough dance training to still consider myself a dancer. And I think that was super helpful. I mean, I was knackered in third year. I looked tired in every picture. But it was like, it was the best
You
decision.
always look beautiful.
Stop it. But yeah, it was like the best decision I could have made, because I had so many people in my musical theatre corner being like, come over here.
Yeah. And that's
But,
awesome though, just taking that extra time out and filling your skills in all areas that you can. Another important message, I think I always say this to my students at points when I'm teaching, is just grab this training and get everything you can out of it, whether you feel silly, whether you feel like you're not good enough. That's never going to go away unless you conquer them fears right now in this safe space where you're training. Because
yeah, 100%.
once you get out there, I don't think you feel like you're in a place where you can, and this is, I'm not saying this is a good thing, but it's kind of, this was, I think, my opinion. I didn't feel like I was in a space to make mistakes. There's not much room for making mistakes once you're out there, once you're in them audition rooms, and once the competition kind of really heightens. So
Yeah.
that training time really is your time to take every moment that you can, grasp every bit of training that you can, get them extra singing lessons. It sounds like you did all the right things and it's really paying off for you, which I'm so glad.
I feel like in third year I sort of woke up a bit and I was like, oh, this is my last year of this like crazy intense training that I'm gonna get. So yeah, like you said, I just sort of had a bit of a wake up call and was like, right, okay, I need to take a bit of that. Georgia, I'll have you for singing. Like I just realized that I had 1 year left out of the three, because 3 years sounds like such a long time, and it goes like that. Like it's over before you know it. And yeah, you're absolutely right. It's just something that you have to you have to go in there so open to uh I was going to say failure, and that is so the wrong word. You have to go in there open to making mistakes and being uncomfortable to then becoming comfortable. But yeah, when you're in the audition room, you don't want to be in that headspace of, oh, it's okay if I get it wrong. This is a safe space.
Kind of not anymore. Then that's like your whole life is on the line. Everything that you've done that training for, that's your moment to go.
Yeah.
Get it. Yeah.
Yeah, you want to show them. You want to show them what you've learned, like those 3 years at college. You want to show them that you're like ready to be paid for your art.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously you've done really well, Colette, which is amazing. Like so far, you are absolutely flying. And I know you haven't been out of work a great deal, but have you had any times where you have? And if so, how have you kind of found coping mechanisms to get through them?
Um, I I'm really lucky in that my support system, being my family and friends, are like amazing. Um, but with that, you sort of you have to learn to be your own cheerleader. And there's gonna naturally, as humans, there's gonna be days where you doubt yourself, and um, you doubt your talent that is clearly there. You doubt your appearance and wonder whether that's why you're not getting the job, or just there's so many things that end up like going through your mind. And I just think the more stillness you can have with your mind, I think like it's just so important. And but basically my parents are dancers and they're amazing and they have helped me so much, but without their normal side, I don't think I'd have been as okay not having a job. And I just think if you can surround yourself by like-minded people, then you're all going to help each other get on the right path. I think that's, yeah, it's just really important to have the right people in your, oh my God, I was going to say support bubble, but that feels so wrong now because of the time we're in. But you know what I mean? Your tribe.
Tribe, yeah. Life is better with your tribe.
Yes.
Colette, so the industry, like we've spoken about already, it can be really difficult at times. What would you say from your personal experience is the hardest thing that you have experienced in trying to navigate your way through that lifestyle? And also what advice you'd give to somebody else that's coming into the industry?
It may seem like quite an obvious answer, but is probably the rejection of not getting a job that you've auditioned for. And yeah, it is really tough, but it comes in the package of deciding to do this as a career. You're not, I'm all for positive thinking, but realistically, you're not going to get every single thing that you go for. And it is a tough reality, but it doesn't have to be like heartbreaking. You can learn so much from not getting something than you would if you were to just get every single thing that you auditioned for. And yeah, so that's pretty tough, but at the same time can be really eye-opening. So there is a positive in that. And I suppose my advice for that would be to try not to get into your head about it, which is obviously way easier said than done. Because we all do it. Like even now, sometimes I personally do it, and then you just have to snap yourself back out of it. But it's really easy to let yourself go on like a downward spiral in your mind of questions as to why you didn't get it, when really I think the main thing is then to focus on what your next goal is, or what the next audition is, or what class you're going to take next to improve what you might have not done wrong, but like what you might want to improve on that you weren't so great at in that audition. So you'll never be caught off guard if you just go and train things that you know you're not as comfortable in. So yeah, there's learning in all of this, and I don't think rejection should ever be the worst part, because there's there's eye-opening moments within rejection in this industry anyway. So take it as positive, learn from it, and if it's something you really want, like I really wanted to be in Six, so I think that was my second or third audition for it. I just knew I wanted to be a part of it, and knew that the first time wasn't my time, and that's okay. And I got sad about it, but only for a sec, because I was like, it's cool, something else has come in. They're at some point going to have to re-audition, at which point I will go in again. And yeah, you just gotta power through instead of dwelling on what you haven't got. You have to focus on what you already do have and your talent that you do have, and yeah, push forward with that. Motivate yourself.
Yeah, I think that's an amazing message, and it's something that will resonate with every single performer out there, because every single person faces that rejection and everybody needs something else to focus on. So yeah, I think that message is spot on.
Perfect.
Oh. Oh, thank you so much, Colette.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me.
No, thanks for coming on and having a chat with me. It's been lovely to catch up. These are so nice for me, you know. They're
Oh,
so,
and me, just to chat with someone else.
yeah.
Sorry, no offense, but yeah, it's nice to talk about our industry as well, because I feel really disconnected from like the arts at the moment. And yeah, it's just nice to talk about it again.
Yeah, it is, and fingers crossed it won't be too long, and everyone will be back on stage.
Yeah, I hope so.
There's light at the end of the tunnel, isn't there? Oh, thank you, Colette. Thank you so much. I'll speak to you soon. Take care.
See you later. Bye.